Hello and welcome to one of the demo rooms at Signals Hi-Fi. Today we're going to be having a look at Dynaudio loudspeakers, but we're going to go right through the range, starting from the Emit 20. I'm just going to use the 20 classification, so the Emit 20, the Evoke 20, the Contour 20, all the way up through to the Confidence 20. I'm not going to use the special 40s because they haven't got 20 in the title. Why else? We're going to start with the Emit 20s. Let's have a look at those. So to begin with, the Emit 20s are going to be run on this Rega system here. We're going to use a CD player and an amplifier, decent Rega cabling straight into the Emit 20s. Okay, I reviewed the Emit 10s maybe a year ago actually. I was well impressed with those, but we're going with the 20s size because I think they will work in slightly larger rooms. We have the Serotar tweeter. This is quite important that Serotar tweeter is filtered down technology from their Esotar tweeter. That ESO 3 tweeter we're going to have a look at in depth in a minute. It's a phenomenal HF unit, but this is a derivative of that. It's filtered down technology. This is the advantage of loudspeaker manufacturers who build their own drive units. Down to the bass unit. Now, I really love this. This surround is glued or bonded underneath, which means the cone goes right to the edge of the surround. That's going to help with standing waves. It also means you're going to get a larger cone area because there's no surround being glued on the front of the cone, which is also going to change or have an impact on breakup modes, particularly in the drive unit. The other thing, to keep the cost down, this particular bass unit is a pressed steel chassis, but they've put double magnet motor system on the back to get back some of the magnetism or magnetic force that's lost through the cast steel chassis, through the pressed steel chassis, sorry. Let's have a listen to these on this system and then we'll upgrade to the next ones up. Okay, so we just went from the Dynaudio Emit 20 to the Dynaudio Evoke 20. Now, before I discuss the differences in sound, which I'm pretty sure you should have heard on those sound clips, let's just have a look at the little brother, the 10, to show you the differences between the Emit and the Evoke. And I've got to say, this must be up there for one of the best looking loudspeakers on the market. I love these look fantastic, and part of that is the fact that these have curved edges. The Emit doesn't. The baffle has a slight rolling to it, but these are definitely curved. That's so going to help with dispersion, diffraction, which in turn will improve the imaging. They're also tapered, so they're narrower at the back than they are at the front. Very nice port, which doesn't have the rifling. So I can only assume that the airflow is better controlled in this cabinet and it doesn't need the rifling. Pretty stiff cabinet, but not stone dead, so there's some liveliness to it. The other difference is the drive units now are a cast aluminium chassis. So with a cast aluminium chassis over a pressed steel chassis, you've got a more rigid hold on the mechanical moving parts. Okay, so the difference in sound quality for me, sitting in here, going from the Emit, which sounded lovely, very enjoyable. The Emit 20s are a perfect gateway into getting into hi-fi. They sound tremendous. But when you step up to the Evoke 20, the imaging is better. The detail in the HF is better, even though it's pretty much the same HF unit. So the crossover components are probably slightly better quality. And the bass unit with that cast chassis now is the bass is cleaner. It's a little bit more controlled, but we were still using exactly the same amplifier, same CD, same volume, same cables, same position. I even left the phone exactly in the same place to record those two pieces of music. And there was definitely a much appreciated lift in sonics there. They just sounded glorious. I think this series of Dynaudio speakers are probably my favorite. I absolutely love these. Bang for buck, brilliant. Okay, let's take a jump up again to the Contour. Now, I think I'm probably going to have to increase the spec of the equipment. So let's give them a try through Accuphase. Okay, we're going to up the ante slightly for the Contour 20s. Who remembers the story of the ugly duckling? I've got to say that is going to be my analogy for these loudspeakers. Let me show you why I'm not a massive fan of the appearance of these loudspeakers, but let's then see if that analogy comes true, that the ugly ducklings turn into beautiful swans. Okay, the loudspeaker is called the Contour. Now, these lines are beautiful. Lovely finish on the cabinet. Again, we're getting that tapering. But when we get to this, now I can live with this baffle, and there is a gap there, and this whole front is routed out, and then a whole new baffle is countersunk in there, and this gap, I can live with that. The rounding of the edges, I can live with that. But what I find distracting is that shape on the HF unit's faceplate and the fact that the screws are visible. Now, all of the others, the screws are hidden, and I think I can live with it, and with the grills on, yeah, that's fine. But these don't, for me, follow the family line of loudspeakers. Let's have a chat about the sound and see if the ugly ducklings turn into beautiful swans. Okay, the Contour 20. So we've upgraded the system to the Accuphase. We've plugged in the contours, and to describe how different that track sounded, I was able to detect the breath of the instrument being blown. The separation, the air, the space around the instruments was vastly improved. Now that's not only down to upgrading the loudspeakers, that's down to upgrading the equipment as well. But we've not gone crazy on cabling. We're still using the same interconnect, we're still using the same mains leads, we're still using the same speaker wire. We've just upgraded the amp, the CD player, and changed the loudspeakers. And it's vastly, vastly more detailed. It's much more enjoyable. It's not that the previous system was less musical, it just didn't allow you to dive into the recording as much as that system could, the Accuphase Contour combination. Now, if we move up to the Confidence, have a look at this HF unit. Now that, we've got backplate, we've got some kind of tapered device, we've then got this here, which is some sort of damping wadding, the magnet case, another panel, backplate, this interesting gadget here, which is very difficult to see, but if you can see down there, it's like some kind of diffuser, if you like. I'll check the correct terminology for that in a minute. Another plate, the actual face plate with the dome on it, another plate, and then this scooped out face plate here. if you can see, there's a lot of components. Let me get the light off that. A lot of components went into that Esotar 3 tweeter, which belongs to the Confidence loudspeakers. I've just played that sound clip there, so we've gone from the Contours to the Confidence, and the level of detail is increased again. So we've kept the same amplification and CD player, the Accuphase, but we've just upgraded the speakers. So this test has been really a certain level of equipment, being the Rega with the Dynaudio Emit 20s, then we upped to the Evoke 20s, and there was a definite lift. We've then changed the system and gone to the Contour 20s, and there was a huge step up. It was much more detailed, more refined, able to extract more delicate detail, give you a wider soundstage and overall presence, separation of the instruments. Then we upgraded the speakers to the Confidence, and a huge step up again. So very obviously, better speakers sound better. But it's very interesting to do these kind of experiments that within the area, if you like, of, or budget, if you like, of the Emit and the Evoke, they're both very enjoyable loudspeakers. So if you were really restrained on budget for your loudspeakers, then the Emit would be perfectly good. They're very, very good, very musical, enjoyable, very well performing loudspeakers. But when you take that step up to the Evoke, you've just got slightly better imaging, you've got much more accurate detailing, better sound staging, the imaging is better. Then you would be at a sort of next level of equipment. And when you go to the Contours, as much as I'm not a fan of their appearance, their sound is phenomenal. They really, really do sound exquisite. Very, very nice sounding loudspeakers. But with that better equipment and you jump up to the Confidence, I could say, or Dynaudio should say confidently, that they are probably one of the best sounding two-way stand mount loudspeakers on the market. They are very, very good. I'll just quickly show you what those evolve into, and then we'll say goodbye. Take care, guys. I'll catch up with you soon. So before I show you the bigger brothers of these, this whole baffle, one piece of different material. There's the Esotar 3 tweeter, the top of the range bass unit there. And look at this, boat hull cabinet, amazing finish, dedicated stands, and the port for these is right underneath there. But the finish on these is tremendous. You can see my reflection there. Very, very enjoyable, extremely capable loudspeakers. We could up the equipment further and further and further and still be well within their capabilities.